Today is Monday, September 6, 2021. Stock options and bond markets will be closed. Future markets will close at 1 p.m. Tuesday, September 7th will be a big week going into a short week for trades. It's all about the what ifs. Many things can happen this week. A lot of things are going very bullish. A lot of things have seen their bottoms. Now, will they continue to bottom farther, or will they rise up over September? September could be an early Christmas for the next level of 2022, for a new change in direction of where some stocks might be heading. If they're going to go into 22 and still continue a dip, or if they're going to shoot up and do a dip and then another rise towards March and towards June next year. So looking forward for the next 3, 6, 9 months, this is that next level looking at 2022. It's all about the long plays. Seeing yourself through the end of the year, seeing yourself to expected earning dates in November, December, and see what comes through the next quarters. CEI, Viking, those two, I would keep my eye on CEI. That has a lot of volatility where it can move and change in play. So experienced traders, if you're not experienced, get yourself experience. Experience comes from your research, from your knowledge, from your due diligence and your intuition to continue to grow. Not think that you know everything, but continue to learn everything about all the different sectors, about reverse mergers, everything you can about stock splits, everything on your trades. If you're trading futures, if you're trading on options, whatever you're trading on, you need to go through and practice on the side, watch the market, and don't have that fear of missing out. It's all about being bullish, but buying in at the lowest entry level possible so you can get the most maximum gains out of what your investment is. WTII, they definitely have their capture system and they are getting a good stronghold in the market. So starting to look at some of these plays like Plug, PLUG, FCEL with fuel cell. Some of the hydrogen markets are definitely in another capture area. With water, you need water with some of these with hydrogen. With water, you need water with oxygen. With oxygen in the pandemic, it's used up water. With depleting water sources, water is becoming very needed. So when you look forward, many of these plays, they might fit your area. It depends what sector you're in. They all affect the energy, NEE. They've been hovering around the same ballpark for a while. So I think they're one that's definitely due for a breakout in time. You have XSPA, iBio, Board Drilling, BORR. Some of these, they're definitely staying green. They went down. I think they've kind of hit a bottom part where now they're starting to show performance and rise back up. So if you own any of these, I hope they continue to rise for you. HPIL, definitely showing its potential yet. Definitely keeping itself in the game. EGLE for Eagle Box Shipping. I did a video on them. Shipping is definitely something that's needed worldwide. It will continue to grow and be a source. So when we look forward, you can look at transportation, the railroad, and everything. But shipping has to come from country to country, so that way our other transportation sources are used. If we don't have our shipping, transportation will go down. I see this company definitely with some growth in the future. SBET is one to check out, do your research on. They had caught my eye a couple weeks ago. SEDG, Solar Edge Technologies, they're one to check out, do some research on. NEE, like I said, Next Era Energy, they're definitely on my map of somebody that has potential in the future. It's squeeze time for some of these stocks on the OTC, TGRO, in the oil. Make sure you're going and seeing what is pink. See what's pink current, see what's pink limited. Make sure you're going and seeing what financials were reported. Check the Form 10Qs. Go over stuff as much as you can. Learn how to read and go through and understand what you are reading, so that way you know what you're looking at and investing in a company, how much equity they have, how much cash on reserve, how much debt they have. All these things come into factor when you're factoring in the stocks and a long play on a future. TWOH is definitely one that got on my map. They're definitely one that, with food delivery, and their 10Q kind of surprised me. If you look at them, they definitely have that potential to keep gaining ground. It may not be the quickest gain, but over time they could show a solid profit line. This is one that definitely caught my eye. BSSP, Cantech Holdings. They're one they're still waiting to finish all their reporting. If they can make the deadline by the 28th, you could see a growth with them linked with EFIR. It's a possibility that EFIR will probably report first. If they report, I would think that after EFIR reports, then you'll see BSSP report. Penny stocks, they're definitely, anything you invest in is a gamble and a risk. Make sure you're doing your research and educating yourself as much as possible about these stocks as more guidelines come down on these stocks. The longs, when you're investing in penny stocks, a lot of times it's because you're investing in that long play, just like some of these other companies. So predicting is on you and your intuitive knowledge. You have to try to be your own broker and predict where you're going to go into the future with your portfolio, and then you got to match your portfolio with actual brokerage agencies that you can invest in these stocks and where you can buy these stocks, and make sure that they're going to hold stocks and allow you to buy and sell your stocks through them into the future. All these things come into play. Right now, it's definitely a waiting game. You got to wait on some of these and see what they're going to report on their 10Qs, on their financials. See if they make all the deadlines. If the deadline hits and then they catch up, how it goes. It's a waiting game. So you just have to gotta wait through September. The next couple weeks might be bumpy, but towards September end, we're going to see a lot of things come to fruition about a lot of these stocks. Watching what's coming pink current. If you're bullish or bearish, this is the time where the bulls will rise, where bears are trying to suppress something. And if a stock can get through resistance and the bulls can gain ground, we'll see how this goes. RTON, right on. They were one that caught my eye with volume coming out of Friday. I think that between their open and close mark at 0015 to 0018, that might be that time on an entry level for them. When you're looking at entry levels, I think some of these stocks, they were moving some volume. Some of them, they might not be moving a lot, but it was good to see them moving some after they were sitting cold for a second. EEGI has definitely been on the move, up and down. SNRS, they started to move again, which was good to see. IKTO had some movement going for them, which was good. TCHH is still sitting cold at the moment, but maybe they can get something going. We'll see what happens with that stock. GARB is another one. So when you're looking at oil and power, they're definitely one that they could start gaining ground and re-emerging. NOHO, they've been staying at a solid mark at 00, 10 and above. So I think they're linked with DRNK. Those two right there, if you own one, you should probably own the other one. That way you can get a piece of both of them. PYCT, it's had some emerging growth and definitely starting to gain a little bit of ground. RCHA, they went from being cold to putting themselves back up a little bit. ASDN with Astro, they've came a long ways. They have, don't quote me, but I think it's Horizon. I did a short little clip in one of my videos on them. They've definitely been an emerging stock. They've had some validity in them. They've went back and forth. I think their peak was around $7 or so. And with them, they definitely have potential going into the 2022 to 2024 and where everything's going with markets and sectors, hydrogen, electric vehicles. They definitely have a play that they could get into with a niche. So WTII, you can see them, they've been steadily their volume's been steady throughout every day. EFIR, they keep moving. You have Bohr. Bohr keeps slowly ticking up, 1 cent, 2 cent here. So they're definitely staying where they're heading back towards that dollar mark. MLHC, they've been one that they went green, which was nice to see, and they started to go from being cold to rising back up. With TGRO, you can see where they've been floating, and I think they've been at their bottom at 0004 to 0003. They've been in this float. Some days you know that your stocks are going to be red. If you're playing the long play, you're not worried about the red days. You're worried about making sure it comes green at the end of the day. A year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you want to see your growth and potential come out of that stock. With IAGX, they're one that they still may have some potential for those invested in that. AMLH, they were down low for a while, but they've been staying above that 0020 mark. They've had potential in them. FFMGF, the First Mining, they had went down for a minute, but they definitely, sorry guys, I thought I had something else in here for them. But with First Mining, they definitely have that potential where they can continue to rise if they stay on point. And I think that will be one that goes into the future, and they definitely have that potential where you could see them head towards over $1 in 2022 to 2023. I think mining is definitely going to come into play with all the batteries and everything we're going towards. Everybody wants to do EV vehicles, so there's plenty of people getting into EVs, but there's going to be only so many chips, only so many batteries. So the limitation on where things are going and products, who's investing in the mining companies, what mining companies are linked with the other companies producing stuff. That'll become an important play in the future here. 22nd Century, XXII, NGD, New Gold, BSSP, like I had said. They're all ones that they keep showing green. It might be that slow long play. They're slowly ticking each day, but they're staying on that positive trend. BLUU is the one we're still waiting on. With that's a shell company that if they end up catching a merger or they end up releasing something could come out of that, or it might end up just being a cold stock and sitting. CLIS, I did a video on them. If they can come back, that could be a 5 to 6 time play, and if they head back towards that mark, you could see them going up over $1 into the future. You know, if you're holding for 2022 to 2024 play, DSUS, they had bottomed out and went cold, but they started to show a little life, but we'll see what happens with that company. MFST, they had a solid run for a minute. They had peaked on a pump and dump, and they continued on their way down. They've hit down. They're at 0004. We'll see if something comes out of MFST. With TGRO, they had a strong finish coming out of September 3rd. They had a rise there. If they can continue through their resistance, they had a high volume day last week. If it takes a minute for everything to go through a cycle, so you might see some change in them throughout this week. And if they can meet everything that they need to and how they release their information, they have a good CEO. They have a lot of potential. They have a lot of growth potential in them. Their CEO is really strong in what he does. And if they continue to grow and release information on a steady basis and stay transparent, you could see some growth come out of this company. Short shares are all out, and you know, like I said, the TGRO, they're just waiting for that squeeze. You know, if news comes out, you could see them maybe pop up. You know, 0005, 0006, and it might be a slow tick up, or they might do a jump. So we'll see about them. You could see some major uptrends coming. TGRO, this showed they had their financial statements reported on September 1st for 2019 and 2020. We're just waiting on the 2021. You get that financial report for TGRO for 2021. Like I said, you can see a definite uptrend just heading in. I wouldn't expect them to drop any lower. So currently with their CEO, this gives some information. You know, he holds the position of president, CEO, CFO, secretary, and treasurer of Tiger Oil and Energy Incorporated. And he's the chief financial advisor and director at Universal Potash Corp. He previously was the chairman, president, CEO, CFO, secretary of Rockford Oil Corp. He has a long history and he has some credentials to back him up. He's a strong leader in the company. So if you follow certain people, he's definitely one that he might be that person that he's going to be the game changer in the company that can really make this company happen. HPIL, they're one that's been on my chart that I've been watching, and they've been fun to watch as they come through some resistance lines and they continue. If they have another week like last week and they start out where they are, they pop back up and do another run, they'll slowly keep breaking through their resistant barriers. So Pisces, Aries, you know, do your due diligence, be bold in your moves, make sure that you are backing your moves with your research. Make sure you're doing that intuitive analysis, breaking down these companies. One of the gainers for one day coming out of 9.3 that really caught my eye was IRNT. They had a major jump up. Vero was another one. And with that one, like I said, IRNT, they had a $12.57 gain. Vera, VERA, they had jumped up $4.81. With IRNT, they're a long hold too, but if you held them on the play for a long time, you definitely saw some good gains come out of them so far. I think they'll continue to go. Intuitive Machines secures its lunar program with collective defense from IRNT. So with lunar flights beginning in 2022, Intuitive Machines places cybersecurity among its top priorities to secure its intellectual property and the integrity of its operations. This was September 1st, coming off Business Wire. I'll make sure I link a link in the description below. That way anyone that wants to check it out, here's the link if you want to take and copy it. And like I said, I'll post that in the description below. Vera, I looked at them. I was looking at all their lows, looking at their highs, looking at their resistance. Now they've hopped back up. They're showing at 25.80. If they keep doing their stuff, I could see this stock definitely staying above that $22 mark. So if you look into the future on a long play, this one's one that I think they're through that $20 mark. They're going to be definitely heading on an upward trend, and they could be heading towards that $30 mark come 2022. There's no recent stories, but I didn't go far into them. They're just one that caught my eye. I jotted down. But make sure you do your research on these companies. I'm just paying forward information, throwing some names out there for people to research, check out. Go check out their 10Qs. Go look them up. Go see what they have. Go see what patents they have. Go see what they're investing in, what companies they're merging with. With Vera, they're expected on 11/14 to report their next earnings. So you have some time to jump into this one. They have a market cap of 480 or 548.96. So they're over 500 million. You could see definitely this one has the potential, if they continue, this could be $1 billion market cap for them in the future. IRNT, they have a low volume with 7 million, but their market cap close to 2 billion. They definitely, and as we go into the future, everything that's going on with the modern day space race, you can definitely see some potential coming out of them once they start sending stuff up. And if they get some stuff up on the moon, you could definitely see the stock rise a lot, and that they're close to that $2 billion market cap mark, but you could see that definitely double real quick into the future. I hope everybody has a safe week, has a solid week on Tuesday. Make sure you make some smart trades. Make sure you be patient with your market and your investment. And once again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a stockbroker. I'm just a blue-collar worker. I'm just trying to pay it forward, put some information out there for those that maybe don't have the time. Maybe they have kids. They're just listening to some videos. They just need to know some research about some stuff, so that way they can further their research or have some leads to go check into stuff, or maybe check into something they didn't think about before with a stock, like a stock split. So make sure you're checking into these things, what stocks are merging together, and which ones are coming out ahead, which ones have that long-term potential play, which ones, look at the charts real close, see which ones are pumping and dumping. So have a good week and stay solid.